What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Investing Bros. It is July 20th, and that makes it Thursday. We have a great show lined up for you guys today. We're going to be diving into some topics here. We'll be discussing some CBDCs. We'll do the TA as normal. We'll look at crypto, look at stocks. But the main focus today, we're going to be talking about towards the end of the show, so you got to stick around for it, is the Bitcoin ETF debacle. Will this change or affect the four-year cycle in Bitcoin? We're going to have a big discussion there. I definitely want to hear you guys' thoughts about that. Probably put a poll in chat a little bit later, but make sure you stick around to the very end so you guys can hear more about that. Once again, guys, it's the Investing Bros. Go ahead and smash that like button and subscribe to the channel. If you love crypto, if you love stocks, if you love TA and news and want to learn how to invest for yourself, you have found the right spot. Go ahead and smash that like button. We'll talk more about that later here a little bit too. However, first, I do got to introduce my co-host for this morning, Mr. T. Shroom, the Florida man. T. Shroom, how are you doing?
Oh, man, Tim, I got to be honest with you. I'm doing better than I deserve. I really am.
Yeah.
Man, it's been a great day yesterday, and I stayed up really late working on a project, so I'm a little bit tired ski, but
Okay.
We're going to do it. We're going to kill it. I've got my coffee here, a little bit of caffeine, little liquid courage. Morning Liquid Courage, the morning edition of Liquid Courage. So that is going to be really good. But I do have a movie quote. I wouldn't leave y'all hanging without the quote of the day.
Gotta have the quote. Yeah.
Because Tim's quotes of the day are great, but this one's even greater. The greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world that he didn't exist. If you know what movie that's from, let us know down in the chat, because we would love to gauge you guys' knowledge of movies.
I don't know if I know what movie that's from. Is that, I mean...
I do, because I can see the Google page that it came from.
From The Sopranos?
No.
It is a mafia movie, though, correct?
It might be.
It's a mafia movie. All right. Well, now it's time for the thought of the day, brought to you guys by Dwight Schrute. You guys know we had our quotes today from Michael Scott, but now we're moving on to thoughts of the day. And this needs to be the attitude of every single one of you guys out there in the crypto world. I am ready to face any challenge that might be foolish enough to face me.
That's good.
Yeah. So let us know in chat
stuff.
which quote, which is better, the quote of the day or the thought of the day? Let us know which one you preferred. T. Shroom, which one do you prefer, T. Shroom? With your biased opinion, which one do you prefer?
Tim, you always bring forward the best quotes.
Come on.
So it's not even a challenge. I might even just stop doing it.
Listen, I think the only way you're going to beat me at this point is if you start bringing some Dwight Schrute or Michael Scott thoughts to the table, and then we'll have ourselves a real debate.
Yeah. The thing is, I'm a true believer in diversity, so I like to keep things fresh. But the truth is just The Office have really cornered the market on thought. And
they did.
It's quotation.
One of the top thought processes in the entire world is coming from The Office. But It is time to go and move on in here. Before we jump into some heavy TA and some crypto stuff here, let's talk about community. Now, I'm going to read some names here, but I did want you guys to know we did not get to our goal. Some of you guys who watched yesterday know from here on out for the next 2 months, every single time a live stream gets to 150 likes before we end the live stream, we will be giving away 2 free memberships here to the Investing Bros. Anytime that we see, I said yesterday 30, I've just decided we're going to go down. If we see 20 subscribers while we are live, then we will give away 5 memberships. Currently, just in case you guys are wondering, we are currently sitting at 3,742 subscribers. So we did gain like 9 subscribers yesterday as a whole, but we got to see 20 of them while we are live. If you guys want to get some free memberships here, make sure you guys act on that. Go tell your friends, share the video so we get those subscribers and likes up. At the moment, we're sitting at 35. Yesterday, we got all the way to 157 total in the video, and I told you guys if we got to 200 on the video, we'd give away some memberships. Didn't quite get there, but you guys got another chance today. Make sure, if you have not already, smash that like button. Let's read some names though here in chat. Who is joining joining us this morning. Yair Navarro was first saying GM, but he was followed by Mr. Amello Fellow with the GM, 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 MG. And that is my best impersonation of Pinky Doll, everyone. Thank you. Thank you for coming to the video. We're not going to become that kind of a channel, but that was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for a mellow fellow. So there you go. Remington Peralt came in third place with the GMMG. Lots of GMs, lots of vehicles this morning coming in. General Motors killing our chats. Crypto Pew Pew Cruz is here. Army Piper with the blue wrench is here. Who else do we have? Let's see.
Piper Sniper.
Justin Eubanks is here. Let's see. It's me, Crypto Mario, saying what's good. Again, one of my favorite names. Who else do we have here? Mike Play is here. Crypto Trades with the green name is here. Eric Wallen is here. Who else do we have? Gia S with the green name is here. Mike Lowry. And here's what I'll say. Someone said yesterday, I guess Piper in Texas this morning, someone was asking if GS will become mod. We're pretty heavily modded at the moment, but I think a new thing we're going to do is every time we gain 1,000 subscribers, so every new 1,000 subscribers, we'll add another mod. So GS is on the next chopping block. When we hit 4,000 subscribers, we will add GS as a moderator. So if you want to see Gia with that blue name, you got to smash subscribe. Let's keep moving on, though. Mike Lowry again is here to see. Nancy Croy is here. RSan246 is here. Bob is here. Who else? We have Mike Volmer said, good morning, Tim. Good morning to you, Mike. Who else do we have? Thank you, Curtis Rourke, saying, have we started additional thumbnail files for Fink and Sailor? To be honest, I don't think we've done that many here. Between this channel and then BitBoy's channel that I'm involved with, there's been a lot of Fink and Sailor thumbnails. But here on Investing Bros, this is Investing Bros, and we haven't done that many thumbnails for them. Let's get three more names, and we're going to move on here. Crypto Military Vet, welcome. Sativio Shimoto is here. And the last one I see, TJ's Chicken Salad. Welcome, everybody. Guys, if I did not read your name, and I know there was probably a lot of you guys did not get to read your name, it's not because I don't love you. It's just time to go ahead and move on into the content. And again, special show today because we are going to be discussing two different topics that are pretty heavy, CBDCs and what your thoughts are of those. But also, we're going to be talking about the Bitcoin ETF and what its effect on the 4-year cycle will be. You don't want to miss it, so stick around. We got 88 people watching right now. That's going to keep growing. I'm going to say right now, T-Shroom, peak concurrent, we're going to get to 160. We're going to get to 140 likes, and then it's going to be a mad dash at the end to see if they can get to 150. Let's see if it happens. But let's go ahead and get on in here. You can go ahead and share my screen. We're going to do our economic outlook starting off this morning. And something we didn't mention, but Piper did bring to my attention this morning, right here, initial jobless claims came in at 228,000 after the previous was 237. The consensus was 242, forecast 242. Everyone thought we were going to get more unemployment, but it went down. I'll tell you right now, guys, good for you guys, good for Americans not losing their jobs. Bad for Americans because this will just add more fuel to the flame that Jerome Powell wants to raise interest rates because the job market is not getting crushed. So that kind of sucks. Let's keep moving on here, though. Tomorrow, definitely keep an eye on. We'll be able to report on this tomorrow. England, our friends across the pond, you guys will get your retail sales. Let's see. It's not looking good for the forecast, but this week has been a big week of the forecast and consensus getting it wrong. So anything is technically possible. Not major liquidations happening, but the big one you guys will see here in a second. Link is up big this morning. Part of that reason is because there have been short liquidations. Only 277,000, but to Link, that's a bigger deal than like to Bitcoin or Ethereum. So good for Link. Leading our liquidations this morning. Bitcoin does have, even though it's up, it does have 207,000 long liquidations. XRP has 157 long liquidations. Again, nothing really that important. So we're going to keep moving on. Not a whole lot of liquidations, which means there wasn't really explosive price movement, save for Link. Trueflation down 0.01% this morning, down to 214. Let's take a look at what the CME futures is saying. Pretty much exactly where we left it yesterday. 99.8%. It's just about a done deal. 6 days until the next FOMC meeting. We're going to get 25 points. The question is, will we get another 25 points potentially in September? At this point, they're saying no, November. At this point, they're saying no, December. No. Now, when do we get a pivot? Here's the real question. So they're not saying January. They're saying January stays paused. Are we still saying a pivot in March? Yes. So we're still sitting at this point of saying that March of 2024 will be the first rate cut. It's going to be interesting because Jerome Powell doesn't necessarily think this is going to happen, but we will find out next week after he speaks at the podium what his true thoughts are. Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index this morning, we are back up in the greed, sitting at 56, which, again, you don't want to be in the greed, but in this scenario, we're talking about this a lot. Like, this is going to be fine. How about I Trust Capital also coming in clutch 3 days in a row with the sponsorship slot here for Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index. Again, they're not our sponsors. They're just sponsoring the Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index. So, if you guys like I Trust Capital, go for it. Let's take it a little bit different. Usually we don't do this, but I want to go ahead and get this out of the way here early too, so you guys can see this. Not massive movers in the top 10 coins. I think the largest one here actually is, Matic up 6.7%, Dogecoin up 4.4. Let's take a look though at the biggest gainers and losers over the last 24 hours. Of course, we told you guys about Chainlink. It's up 20%. Stellar, XLM up 18%. So while XRP took a little bit of a dip, they're kind of their little brother, XLM, took a nice little rally here, up 71% on the week. That's pretty nice. Synthetics is also up 12. Let's see. Near Protocol up almost 8. So, got some big movers up top, not necessarily overwhelmingly crazy explosive, though. Let's look at the biggest losers. Rocket Pool, anything. Let's see if we notice anything. 1inch Network was a big loser the other day, too. Sui, after having a good day here a couple of days ago, is in the biggest losers, although it's not even down 1%. So, not a very red day for crypto. More positive. 7 days, biggest mover, XLM up 71, XRP. So at this point, 7 days, and we are exactly 1 week after we got the announcement about that lawsuit. XLM actually is outpacing XRP. Very, very, very interesting. Well, let's go ahead and move on in here. What time do we have this morning? 9:12. It's time to go ahead and jump on into our TA this morning. Let's take a look at Bitcoin. I'm looking back at history over here, guys. Don't pay attention. That wasn't the most recent charts. Also out here on the weekly chart. Let's see what the weekly chart is kind of doing this morning. Nothing necessarily special. The RSI is hovering right at 70 on the weekly chart. But that's not necessarily overextended. I did tell you guys I want to see how this week closes. We still have a couple more days here. If this candle stays red, I think that you can make a good argument that we do, in fact, have bearish divergence. I also want to see, you guys can see on my RSI, with RSI primed, you can look at the candles, and we're looking to see, do we see the weekly chart change into a red histogram on the RSI candle, in which case that would confirm that bearish divergence here as well. I want to see what happens, but if we can keep green and keep this going to the upside, there's room definitely on the oscillators on a weekly chart to move up. Let's take a look at what the daily chart is doing here. You guys can see very nicely, we had that bounce at support once again, and especially anyone who joined our tactical trades on Tuesday night, you guys will remember I gave you a trade setup to enter down here at about 29,800 or so and take profit at 30,400. Guess where this wick got to? Let's look at it. That wick touched 30,421, which means we went $21 over my take profit before reversing. Very, very interesting right there. But you got to be at Tactical Trades if you want to see all those juicy trade setups. The RSI is the oscillator is starting to turn. You guys can see the green. We're starting to flash a little green here on the daily chart. Let's see how the rest of the day goes. But this could be a reversal, even though it's in the middle. It's not necessarily overextended to the downside. It's not at a mid level, but we are seeing the ribbons twisting here on the prime oscillator. We are seeing this money flow start to keel over, round over. Of course, we hit that major support here on Bitcoin down here towards 29.7. You guys saw a lot of price action there the last couple of days. A lot of reasons to suspect that Bitcoin could be moving here to the upside. Let's take a look here just a little bit lower, though. Let's go down to the 4-hour chart, and this is where I'll kind of bring in some more indicators. We are on the upward swing. I like how we were able to break through the mid levels here on the 4-hour chart with our oscillators. This, I do believe, could give us some more momentum to continue here to the upside. I was looking at something this morning. Let me turn this off, guys. In case you guys didn't know, you can look at news on TradingView, but I don't love doing it while I'm doing the show. So let's take a look at the 4-hour chart. We did reject What we talked about on tactical trades, we talked about the rejection at the dynamic reactor. Sure enough, that's exactly what happened here on the 4-hour chart. But can we make another surge and press through it? Take a look up here at 30,500 could be interesting as well, as that is our trend assistant, a very powerful indicator here using Chart Prime. Shout out to Chart Prime, by the way, the best indicator out there for technical analysis, bar none. Let's take a look at our multi-time frame levels here as well. Now, we came down. We didn't quite touch some of these more powerful. Let's see. The gold would be 4-hour. The green will be 12-hour. So we didn't touch our most powerful support levels. If we move to the downside, this is a level we talked about. Hey, keep your eyes on 29,300 or so because there is support down there. But as we start to move to the upside, after we break through this dynamic reactor and this trend assistant, I am going to keep my eyes right here on 31,000, give or take right on the dot. Technically, it goes a little above $30, $39, $35, something like that. But that's going to be another level to keep your eyes on for potential, at least partial resistance. We're getting it's getting kind of boring here, guys, with Bitcoin because we're staying within this range. We had a fake out. We did jump up above this $31,400 level that was so important. We set a new yearly high and then immediately fell back down to support. Can we finally get that push we're looking for? You guys do see an order block up here that gets as high as this peak up to 31,800. It'll be very important to go ahead and blow on through that. And after that happens, the next level of resistance that we're really looking at is all the way up at 32,900. That is a daily, the number 3 resistance on the daily. Let's pull that down here for just a second. Last thing I want to look at, let's even look at the more temporary volume profile, and we'll back it out here a little bit. You will see we rejected and are hesitated right here at the point of control ever since we've been in this sideways range. So that's another level, very important. Very important to get over 30,300 and above the point of control. And then again, over the value area high here at 30,700. But we've kind of talked about those levels. Let's back this puppy up just a little bit more. Let's go back all the way to April 1st. And that's the beginning of quarter 2. Oh, I got to back up a lot more. We're going back to the beginning of quarter 2. And then, of course, we're in quarter 3 right now. But it's so early. I want to see really what's been happening since April 1st. And look at some important levels to keep your eyes on. April 1st, come on now. There we go. All right, let's keep a look here. You will see again. So not only was this the point of control, the tighter timeline, they also just rejected on that 30,300 is the point of control ever since the beginning of quarter 2 as well. Value area high sitting up here in that what Piper calls the T box, my yellow box, the resistance of this boring trading channel we've been in up here towards 31,300. So 2 levels, both involving 300s, but one of them 30,000, the other 31,000. Resistance at the moment, even when you're looking at volume profile. Very, very important to go ahead and break on through those. And I will say, last thing here on Bitcoin, and I want to give a shout out to Frankie Candles, A, good friend of mine, B, very good technical analyst. He made a point here when you really back out and you go a long time ago, we go to weekly charts. If you were to go all the way back here, look at the resistance right here. We actually have, let me get rid of Fibonacci here. I don't need to look at Fibonacci.
Get that fib out of there.
Yeah, it's stupid. All right. If we were to go back here, this has been actually no, he didn't. He knew from all the way back there. Let me go back here. If you go back to May of 2022, this right here is a very significant level where we're kind of wrestling at the moment. This is going to be very important for Bitcoin's price to break through that level. You guys can see that peak. One of the reasons why we have value very high here at 30,300. This isn't just a temporary level of significance. It even goes all the way back here over a year ago, back to 2022. So shout out to Frankie Candles for noticing that. There's major implications if we can break through and start closing some weekly candles higher above those levels. You do see at this point, even though we've touched almost to 32,000, our highest candle body close is only 30,500. That's right there, right above that 30,300. That was even significant back here over a year ago. Very important for the bulls to break on through. What time do we have? I definitely want to be getting into, we're going to end TA here for crypto a little bit early because of how many good discussions we have going on, and we'll do some more TA later in the show. Let's take a look at XRP this morning. Guys, this is one I am just not in a majority when it comes to opinions here. But I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm I haven't been that wrong necessarily. After not guessing that we were going to have two explosive things happen here a week ago, I didn't know that on the same day that the SEC was going to lose to XRP, we were also going to have exchanges relist them. Let's be honest, in chat, if you knew the day that XRP was released that they were going to get exchanges, all the exchanges were going to relist them, let me know in chat. Don't be a liar. Be honest. If you thought it was going to take like at least a couple of days, that's how I thought it was going to take a couple of days, maybe a week. But maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm just that dumb. I don't know. Clip that. I'm dumb. When it comes to the rest of the stuff, I've been calling it pretty well, guys. After breaking out of this symmetrical triangle pattern, first of all, we go back here. After we closed candle bodies, yes, we wicked all the way up to the golden pocket. We got up here to 94 cents. We couldn't close the candle above right at the exact level of 0.5 on Fibonacci here at 82 cents. We broke through and closed some candles on the 4-hour chart here. I'm going to go back out to the daily chart, though, and show you the significance of this level. I called this after we broke through. I said, hey, I originally thought that 69 cents would give us problems for resistance. That didn't happen. Watch 69 cents become a strong level of support. Well, sure enough, that's exactly where candles closed just a couple of candles later after topping out over here at the 82 cent level. After then breaking bullish out of the symmetrical triangle pattern, which I did think it would, because call this a bull pennant, call this symmetrical triangle pattern. Either way, both of those would suggest a move to the upside. I said, take a watch here at 82 cents. It might be hard for candles to get above. And of course, we shot up yesterday all the way to 85 cents. But if you go back out to the daily chart, look at where our candle closed. We couldn't close the daily above this level. Now, if we can get some more momentum today, great. If we can get a pushback up, I've said if we can start closing candles above the 0.5, I think there's a decent chance we revisit and double top at this 94 cent level back at the golden pocket. If we break through golden pocket, of course, the next level I'm keeping my eyes on is about 112. 112 is also, funny enough, the target, if this is in fact a bull flag, a bull pennant, that's our target that we're kind of looking for a breakout to come right up to this 112 golden pocket area. So it could make a lot of sense. Now, doesn't have to happen. And I do think that there's a little bit of there was a lot of excitement that happened this past week with XRP that I don't know if they're going to be able to continue that momentum that strong. I think it will come later. But after an explosive emotional rally like we just saw, it's very normal to have a little bit of a dip.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't know if it's going to happen immediately. This is where even in chat, Eric Wallen with the laughy faces says, when 55 cents, Tim? Ha, 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 Tim, when 55 cents? Yes. All right. Listen, I'm one of the few. In fact, I think I've only ever heard 2 or 3 other people in the other technical analysts that I've talked to agree with me that 55 cents is more than likely going to happen. I'm not promising you it's going to happen here this week. I'm not promising it's going to happen within the next month. Even if we start to make a bullish rally, for me, guys, I think I will secede and say I don't believe that 55 cents will happen if we see a $2 XRP. At that point,
Wait.
we're just too far.
Yep. You said you're going to secede or
I'm going to succeed.
concede?
What is concede? Secede. I'm going to revolt and leave the country. What's going to happen.
We're not in Texas, Tim. Well, you're not in Florida either. You're
I'm
Georgia.
not in Florida or Texas. I'm in Georgia. Let's get back over here to the XRP. So I will concede if we get to $2 on XRP that I think we're just a little too far overextended to get back down to 55 cents. But even if we read double top here at 94, even if we get back up to the platinum pocket, I still believe there's a scenario that we make a push all the way back down to 55 cents. I've made this case a lot, just in case anyone here is new, though. The reason for this is when you come down to some of these smaller time frames, this 55 cent level was such strong resistance. Oh, I have to go to the daily chart to show you. This level, 55 cents, was such strong resistance over the last year, such strong support and resistance in the past. You don't just fly through levels like this without revisiting them. And when I come back down to these lower time frames, look at this with me, guys. There was zero hesitation on the hourly chart. We just blew right on through. Let's go down. Let's see what the 10-minute chart. We'll go all the way to the 10-minute chart. The 10-minute chart didn't really even hesitate. It just blew on through. You probably have to go all the way to like a minute chart. Where are we? Come on. Let's go here. Where's my yellow line? The minute chart's so far away. You have to really, really mess with this. There we go. You'd have to go all the way to the minute chart to see any type of hesitation. But notice, even though at the minute chart, we kind of hesitated at the level, fell back down, almost as soon as we broke back through it, there was no afterthought about it. We didn't even think about revisiting 55 cents. And historically, guys, when you're looking at technical analysis, when you look at levels of that significance, I got to unauto it, you do not blow through these levels like a bullet through toilet paper without revisiting them for support. So from a I understand the emotional argument. I understand when people say, guys, XRP was suppressed for so long and then it was released. It got an explosive move, yada, yada, yada. We're just going to move on through. I get it. I get the argument. But from a technical standpoint and from a trading standpoint, you revisit these levels of significant resistance. And I also had a conversation with someone the other day. They were saying, Tim, there's no way we go to 55 cents. There's just so much momentum right now. We're going up high, high, high. Guys, we know we're in a space of manipulative traders. We know that institutions and whales manipulate and play on the retail emotion. The amount of emotion that is in XRP right now, is this not the perfect storm and scenario for a manipulative trader and a whale to suppress the price, bring it back down? That age-old quote, guys, when retail misses the boat, who cares about them? Retail didn't miss the boat. Retail has been waiting for this for a long time. When institutions miss the boat, you bring the boat back. I don't even think the boat's coming all the way back to 46. I don't think we're setting new lows. I'm talking about, I think that a disaster scenario, like we see Bitcoin retrace all the way back to 25, I think we possibly see Cardano and others set at least double bottoms, if not go and set brand new bottoms. I think the new bottom for XRP is 55 cents, and I think that we will touch it. That's my personal opinion. You do not have to agree. You do not have to invest that way. That is completely fine. But in case anyone's saying like, oh, Tim has to admit now that 55 cents isn't happening. No, I don't. First of all, I'm an American. I can say whatever I want. I can be wrong and be passionate, and that's my right as an American. But as a technical analyst, it still hasn't seen, the chart hasn't done things to cancel out and to remove the logical explanation that 55 cents is more than likely, in my opinion, and from a technical standpoint, going to be revisited. Fight me. All right. Here we go. We're going to go ahead and move on, though, from TA. It is 9:26. We're not quite ready for the stock market open. Let's go back to bro time here. We're going to do our community portion really quickly with you guys. So first of all, 16 people watching right now. Thank you. Thank you so much. What is our likes currently sitting at? 75. Oh, rookie numbers, guys. Get those likes up. We're only halfway to that 150 like push that we would need to get some free members in here. So smash that like button. You guys missed an amazing Twitter Spaces last night with me, T. Shroom. Matt C. made an appearance. We heard from who else came up on there? John Carter came up on there. Eric Wallen came up. Piper came up. Yeah. Somebody else. Who was there? Somebody else come up?
It's all the greats.
I don't remember. It was a great conversation. We talked about when alt season, and we talked a little bit about Bitcoin ETFs and stuff. And you know what I found out? On that, we said, T-Stream, that nobody goes back and watches them live. I think Elo Brown went back and listened to it live. So he proved us wrong that people actually listen to Twitter Spaces back, because he commented and tagged us in it this morning that he's like, I'm that guy that goes back and listens to Twitter Spaces. I had like a baseball game or something. So he went back and listened, and you guys listen, whether you want to go back and listen to him or not, make sure you guys start joining us. I think Wednesdays are a good day. I think that Wednesday nights at 7 p.m. is a good day to start doing a more consistent basis of our Twitter Spaces. But we do need your help. We need you to come listen to them every Wednesday night. We also want your suggestions. What topics do you guys want us to talk about? Who do you want us to bring on as guests? We have some friends in high places, but we want you guys to like who comes on. So let us know who you guys want to hear on those. Other announcements today for our gold members. We will have our more intimate bro time over in Discord. What I mean by intimate is on Tuesdays with our silver members. Thank you for that look, T-Shirm. We do it here on YouTube, so you guys can engage with us in chat. We can answer your questions in chat, because there's a lot of silver members. I think we're pushing closer towards 60 at this point, which is phenomenal. But in gold, where I think we only have like 5 or 6, we actually get to bring you guys up. You guys get to be on camera, talk with us. It's just a great hangout. And T-Shroom and I have some great ideas for futuristic entertainment in those. But you got to be a gold member to participate today at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. With that said, T-Shroom, I do believe that's about all I have for community. Anything you have as we have our last minute before the market open?
Just run a minute, everybody. I'm going to be changing my background to an art gallery, and I'll be opening submissions for your NFTs to be featured right back here And I guess we'll do probably links in the description to what is up there or something along those lines. But look out for more on that. That is happening. So be thinking what NFT you may want featured on the Investing Bros. Let's go ahead and get into the market open.
By the way,
Tim.
well, real quick, I do want to correct myself because
Good.
Justin Eubanks.
You've got a lot of correcting to do.
Justin Eubanks is the one who went back and listened to our Twitter Spaces.
Oh, okay.
So I misspoke. Sue me, you know.
Hey, we all make mistakes. All right, let's go ahead and get into it here, guys. Let's do the market open, and then we've got loads of news. The biggest story here that I'm seeing is that Tesla has closed the gap, guys. Yesterday, this is a narrative I've been following on this equity side, which is all of these gaps that are in the tech space. So, Microsoft has one, Google has one, Meta has one. If you don't know what a gap is, it's something that happens on the charts. Right here, I've got in blue, it shows, and Tesla has actually opened well below that gap. So it's it's gap down to close the gap. I'm not a huge fan of that, honestly. I would have liked to have seen a full candlestick because now this gap is going to close, which is obviously bullish. I'm buying this. I'm going to be buying a lot more Tesla today because of why it's down. It's down on some BS. I think it's honestly some PR coordinated manipulation at the highest level. All right, moving along. Let's go ahead and get into our traditional open here, but I wanted to break that news for you. And of course, the NASDAQ is down 0.6 and the Dow Jones is up 0.3, showing a clear rotation out of risk into security there. Let's take a look at energy. Let's not get too carried away. Natural gas having a nice little up day. I think it was up yesterday as well. Oil up 0.7, still not up above $80 per barrel. Let's take a look at those natural gas contracts really quick and see what we can ascertain. What's really important here is the monthly charts, because where it is right now, it's moving up a little bit. But if you look at it on the monthly, guys, it's gotten battered ever since the terrible move to the upside that it had for the pandemic. It's corrected, and now you're starting to see a rounded bottom that may actually play out into some sort of actual bullish movement. I'm not calling it yet. I don't know that we've bottomed in natural gas. I haven't been in that market long enough to know exactly how to predict that, but I'd say it's starting to look like the bears have a little bit less control as it does start to bottom out.
So, T-Shroom, real quick, it said that it still did the stream ad, the midstream ad.
That's strange. That's very strange. I told it not to. I actually confirmed this morning that it wasn't going to do that. So,
that's so rough. We are not done. We're not. The show is not over. Come back, everybody.
Yeah. Okay.
Goodness gracious.
The good news is that Chainlink is up 18% even right now. That is delay. It looks like everything is. The reason for that is delayed news. I'm going to go ahead and go to this, even though it's in our headline section. But Chainlink launches cross-chain protocol to bridge blockchains with traditional capital markets, and this is the CCIP. So this is definitely shooting Chainlink up higher. I don't think that we'll get to more of that in the headlines. That's what it is. And Tim already went over the liquidations for that. Guys, I scooped up some Pepe yesterday, just a shout, not a lot, but I figured I'd buy some while it's down because I'm sure that Pepe is going to scream higher in whatever meme season we're going to have in the mix going into the end of the year or maybe even next year. So gold, silver, mixed, really undecided on the session. And then we come to the mega cap tech stocks, which are telling the story going into what could be a pretty bloody earnings season. Tesla beat earnings, but is down 4%. It was down that much in the pre-market because the earnings call was last night. Now you're seeing Tesla come all the way down to $279 per share. Guys, this is super buyable. Again, we're going to get to this in the stories in just a second. Google, Apple, Microsoft all up very modestly. Taking a look here at the bond yields are coming up. The 5 years up 2%. Continue on down. The mid-cap tech stocks pretty much selling off across the board. Ginkgo Bioworks is giving you a chance to go ahead and scoop some up, down 4% this morning. And then Coinbase is actually staying strong. The anomaly there for the mid caps is up 0.8%. There you go. Got the big banks coming in pretty mixed, but generally bullish. Goldman Sachs, man, this is one I've been wondering about. If they do well on earnings, I think this could follow in the footsteps of Bank of America and Schwab. Schwab was up 12% on their positive earnings. Bank of America has also done pretty well. So if you're into the bank plays, I think Goldman Sachs might be the next winner. And the other thing too with stocks is and the earnings is like if you buy Goldman Sachs, right? Worst case scenario, it misses earnings and goes down, 5, maybe even 10%. 10% would be a bloodbath, but that would, at least you're holding Goldman Sachs. You're not holding some speculative asset, so that's one way to look at some of these earnings plays. Taking a look here at oil producers, all up because oil's up. And then your mining rigs are actually staying green today, even though the mid-cap tech stocks are red across the board. These are mid-cap tech stocks. You could definitely say that. They're all green. So they're bucking that trend. They are green when the rest of their category is red. That's a sign of strength for the industry. And, you have to assume that has a lot to do with the fact that we're going into the halving next year. And these miners are going to absolutely have a heyday. So there you go. That's our market open, guys. We have a lot to cover in the stories, so we want to get to that as soon as possible. We've already done the community section. Tim, anything jumping out there at you there?
Well, I mean, this is very frustrating with what YouTube is doing with these ads. But Eric Wallen did gift a membership, and it looks like that went to B Team Crypto. So thank you so much, Eric Wallen. Welcome in B Team Crypto. So glad you guys are here. Make sure if you're a silver, you guys are looking out for on Tuesdays, we have a bro time here on YouTube. You guys can come in and get some behind the scenes with me and T Shroom. And again, there's gonna be some futuristic behind the scenes content and members only content we put out. So T Shroom and I have some ideas cooking on the stovetop, and we'll let you guys know more about that. This is, I'm telling you right now, T Shroom, this is extremely frustrating. Did someone say there was another ad? What the heck is YouTube doing?
Yeah,
why do they want to just pollute us with ads? This is, I'm borderline T-Shroom. I almost wonder if what we should do, because it's not like we make a bunch of money off YouTube ads anyway. I think there's a way you can do it so that you don't let ads play, but you can still allow super chats and memberships and everything. So we can start doing it. It's like, hey, we just don't want ads played on the live streams.
Yeah, we could just wait to monetize it until after the live stream's over.
Goodness gracious!
But
if you have paid YouTube, you're not seeing ads, but it looks like everybody who is just using normal YouTube is seeing a bunch of ads. We dropped down to 44 concurrent. I think people think the stream's over or something. We got disconnected. So this is frustrating. But let's go ahead for those who are still here. We're probably not going to get our goal today. That's going to be a bummer. But T-Shroom, let's get into some of these headlines. So we do have some juicy, good content to talk about, even if there's only a couple of us listening to it.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's do it. Going over to the headlines here. Russia is looking like they're going to be starting some CBDCs stuff going on, and we want to talk about it. We want to make sure that we're bringing good coverage of this. CBDCs are a big deal. So Russia to start testing digital ruble CBDC in August, barring Putin's veto. So Putin could still veto it. But in case you haven't noticed, he's got his hands full with some different things. A bill granting legal authority to the central bank digital currency passed through the Federal Council. I guess that's their equivalent of a Congress, Russia's higher legislative body. Yes, so more like their Senate. On Wednesday, after previously working its way through the Senate, through the State Duma last week, the bill still requires President Vladimir Putin's signature before coming into effect. If it is signed, tests of the CBDC will start from August 1st. So tests of the CBDCs. So this does not mean to me that it's being rolled out for public consumption and public circulation necessarily. So that's something to watch, something to keep track of. Definitely has a lot to implications on personal freedoms there for the Russians. I know that everything over there is kind of crazy right now, but there's still people, and they still have to use currency to buy and trade things like that. But kind of zooming out, Tim, what are your thoughts here on CBDCs? We haven't got a good refresh. We mentioned it last night in the Twitter Spaces. We haven't gotten a good refresh on CBDCs in a while. They've kind of taken the back seat as the XRP/SEC headlines have just rocketed crypto headlines and totally taken control. So what are your thoughts now on CBDCs now that we've had some time to think about them?
Well, my first thought is I think that if you're someone who's pro XRP, you also have to be okay with CBDCs. XRP and Ripple are going to be heavily used in the building. Ben actually made a video last night. He called this a year ago, that this convenience between the Fed Now launch, which happens, by the way, guys, today, and the timing of the XRP case were going to be very coincidental. Sure enough, he hit it perfectly. Within 1 week of the XRP news that it got released from the SEC, we're seeing Fed Now be released. Ripple will be heavily used when it comes to CBDCs. The other thing is, I am a person who, I don't like the concept of CBDCs. I don't want CBDCs. I think a lot of you in chat are in the same boat. CBDCs are gonna be bad things, could be used for a lot of bad things. Realistically, though, they're gonna happen. First of all, whether we scream and cry about it or not, they're gonna happen. And second of all, it's like, well, do we expect a seamless transition between a cash system and the US dollar and cryptocurrency? No, there's going to have to be a transition. And honestly, CBDCs are going to be a part of that. So I think it's time to not be as much of a screamer and crier about the fact that the CBDCs will exist. And it's going to be more about, hey, let's make sure that there's a lot of oversight into the restrictions of what CBDCs are capable of doing. To be fair, but the concern about them monitoring citizens more severely, they already do that. I mean, if a government really doesn't like, if you do something sketchy and the government doesn't like you, they can have your bank shut down in a matter of minutes. CBDCs, yes, it does make it a little easier for them. If that's the case, it does. But hopefully we elect the right people in office, and with what CBDC gets built, there is a restriction on what they can do to private citizens. That's what we should be turning our attention to. I think if we're going to continue to fight and say we don't want CBDCs to exist, we're fighting a losing battle. That's my belief. T-Shirt, anything that you want to add to that? What is your thought about that?
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot that needs to change about the public's perspective about CBDCs. They're not black and white in the institutional financial establishment around the world is sold on them. They're a foregone conclusion. They're going to happen. They've already been rolled out in a lot of ways through what JP Morgan's done, right? JP Morgan, not a central bank, but it is a bank. It's a traditional bank, and it does a lot of dealings with the biggest bank, one of the biggest banks in the world. By market cap, I think it is the biggest bank that's not a central bank. Anyway, it's already here in a lot of ways. Seeing a country like Russia roll out a CBDC, obviously kind of a worst case scenario, but the adoption rates are probably going to be very low, like they were in Sweden and like they were in Nigeria. Russia, obviously a different country than Nigeria, but not too different from Sweden in a lot of ways. It's not like Sweden. I understand that. But I think that what's going to happen here with the CBDCs is the people of these democratic countries are going to have control over what control the CBDCs have over their wallets. Once that happens, then I think you'll start to see adoption. But the question there is, well, but then how much more has private crypto been adopted at that point? You have very promising blockchains like Cardano, obviously Ethereum, that could become very ingrained with the economy, the trad economy that already exists, with like grocery stores and Walmart and Amazon, and a coin like AVAX or Cardano or even Binance could go ahead and become what the CBDCs are aiming to be, which is like an actual exchange currency for goods and services. So CBDCs, they've got to get it right in order to be adopted, and I don't see that's happening yet. So especially in a country like the United States or the UK, where people are highly educated and highly skeptical of those of oppressive tools, and the cat's kind of out of the bag now that politicians like Ron DeSantis and Ted Cruz have come out so adamantly against CBDCs. I believe RFK Jr. has as well. So I think there's enough public education out there about how bad CBDCs can be, but they're inevitable. So what does that mean? It means that there's going to have to be an educated approach to CBDCs as they're rolled out. And I think you fast forward 10, 20 years from now, I think U.S. government workers and U.S. soldiers are paid in CBDCs, but they're not going to just reprogram your CBDC that you just got from the government to be worth $1 when it was worth $10 the day before. It's going to have to be non-oppressive. It's going to have to make sense, or else people are just going to switch over to Cardano. That's the world we're moving into, is hyper competition in the world of currencies. So that's kind of my thoughts on CBDCs. I don't think that it's evolved too much. I think I evolved quite a bit, and I started with a little bit of an outside of the box perspective on them a few months ago. So there's a lot more stories to get to. You ready to keep moving?
Yeah, well, I think it's time. We're going to go and jump in here to ETFs, but I did want to say Elo Brown gave a super chat, and that did a theory. I turned off the monetization of this episode. Hopefully, we don't get any more ad cuts. But I was worried. I was like, is that going to prevent people from super chats? It looks like no, because Elo Brown did get one through. There will always be two sides of this industry. Learn how to play both. Hashtag CBDC. I agree 100%. Elo Brown. Again, we're going to get into the Bitcoin ETF story now. I do hope, T-Shroom, that there's not something about YouTube's algorithm that when you turn off monetization that they don't want to press it out. Because, of course, YouTube wants to make money. That's the whole game here. They want you to either go buy YouTube Live or they want you to pay to not have ads or the memberships or super chats or anything. They want to make money, but one of the ways they make money is by running ads in the middle of a live stream. So thank you for that, YouTube. And hopefully they don't punish us too bad for turning the monetization off. If that's something you guys like, though, smash the like. That might be a new solution. We just might not monetize these streams while YouTube's bugging out on us. With that said, T-Shroom, give us the article. We have an article this morning as we get into this conversation. Yeah. What are we seeing new about these Bitcoin ETFs?
So it's kind of a headline that's not, it's a refresh from last week, which is US SEC accepts 6 Bitcoin ETFs. So these are spot ETFs proposals for review. And those are the ones you already know about: Van Eyck, Wisdom Tree, Bitwise, Invesco. And then also CBOE has one. And then BlackRock, obviously the big one. And then ARK, I don't think is listed on here, which is actually kind of important. So maybe the ARK one hasn't taken this next step. But that's exactly what it is. It's a next step forward for these spot Bitcoin ETFs. And that's really what matters. Tim, are they going to pass through? And kind of what are your thoughts as of right now?
Yeah. So first of all, I think they are going to pass through. So I want to start off by saying we've speculated on this for a little while, and there's a couple different thoughts we're kind of chase here. That's why we saved ourselves a lot of time here. We got 15 minutes to talk about Bitcoin ETFs, about BlackRock, about ARK Invest, about everything that has to go with them. I don't know if BlackRock has to be first as long as it is close. We have speculated that the SEC delayed any other spot ETF to buy time for when BlackRock did it because they did want BlackRock to be the first. We do think that old Larry Fink has control over a lot of different things. He has a extremely, not just him, but BlackRock in general, has an extremely amazing record against the SEC getting things approved. So even more recently, when we saw things get delayed, was that delay actually something that Larry Fink wanted to happen? Because at the moment that we saw that, ARK Invest was first in line. ARK Invest had the right to be approved or denied first. When the judge delayed the whole process by saying you submitted it the wrong way, we want you to rework your submission, they leveled the playing field, they restarted the clock, and now whether BlackRock is first or it's one of the first couple that gets to come out within days, if not hours of others, they will get a majority portion of the benefits that a Bitcoin ETF will have. So that's my first point right here, is that this is exactly what we thought was going to happen. BlackRock's going to be, if not first, early when it comes to having a spot ETF. I think they all get approved pretty early on, but the winner of that is BlackRock, not ARK Invest. Fidelity will do okay. These others will do okay, but BlackRock will be the real winner. And of course, the Bitcoin holders will be the real winners because trillions of dollars will be coming into the space. Piper was on this morning with us in our pre-show, and he wanted to make sure you guys understood. Listen, guys, there's heavy speculation that literally $1 trillion soonish, and soonish means months, year, will be coming directly into Bitcoin because of this. There's, I think Larry Fink has said this. I can't remember who was the other person he said T-Shroom. He was listening to a video. They're going to type it in here in a second, and they're just delayed here. Do you remember the name he said this morning? Novogratz?
No, I'm not sure.
Novogratz. Novogratz. Mike Novogratz was speculating that he thinks 1 trillion very, very soon is coming directly right into Bitcoin. Here's the question, though. As the title suggests, and the discussion I want to get into, let's predict that the Bitcoin ETFs will be approved sometime within the next month to maybe 6 months. So that means we're talking about Novograph. It's Novogratz, I think, right? Anyway, so it's going to happen sometime either between August or January of 2024. More than likely, we will see a Bitcoin ETF come. Maybe March. Maybe stretch it all into March. Does that mean the price of Bitcoin will shoot up immediately? Does that mean the timetable of the 4-year cycle that we've been following with Bitcoin will be put to an end? Novogratz. I was right. Okay, good. Michael Novogratz. Does that mean the 4-year cycle will be put to an end here on Bitcoin? There are many who believe the answer to that question is yes. There are many who believe that the moment we see a Bitcoin ETF, the price of Bitcoin will skyrocket. And I've been doing this a lot recently, T-Shroom. I've been making a habit of it over the last 3 weeks or so. I'm here to piss on the fire. I'm here to tell you guys that is not how this is going to work whatsoever. First of all, spot ETFs, they don't just allow you to long, they allow you to short. Second of all, what did we say earlier about XRP? When retail investors miss the boat, who cares? Nothing happens. The price will just continue. It'll go. When institutions miss the boat, they bring the boat back. We've seen within the last couple of months a $25,000 Bitcoin. Within the last 6 months, we saw a $15,000 Bitcoin. Do I think Bitcoin's going all the way back down to 15,000? No. There are some that do believe that. I think it's entirely possible. I think more realistically, we're looking at 25,000, maybe 20,000 on Bitcoin. But either way, this $1 trillion that Novogratz is talking about, the $72 trillion that BlackRock has under management simply from baby boomers who have really not touched Bitcoin with a 10-foot pole, who now will be kind of pushed to touch Bitcoin. You don't think they're going to bring the price back for them? You don't think that BlackRock, A, wants to, and B, has the ability to suppress price back down to lower levels so they can gobble more supply? They absolutely do. So that's argument number one I have, is that when this happens, this is going to be a classic buy the news. I think that as we hear the excitement, what is the precipice for why I think 36 is still in play? Some people think 40, some people think 50. It's the excitement of the ETF. The excitement of waiting for, we're finally going to get this spot Bitcoin ETF is very, very exciting. It's going to be very bullish for price. And then it's going to be launched and price will be suppressed. What is my evidence for this? A, logic. But B, let's talk about the gold ETF and let's talk about gold pricing. So first of all, the first US gold spot ETF was launched on November 18th of 2004. That's a very important date for us to know. Let's go ahead, T-Shroom. Give me just a second because I want to get to the gold chart. I'm looking at a different chart at the moment. Let's go to gold. Let me get out here to the weekly chart and let's scroll back. Let's take a look in the past, back in history. I went ahead and marked it out for you guys. This first green line, this is the weekly chart of the 18th of November of 2004. Look at the price action in the weeks leading up to it. It goes all the way back to May of 2004. There was months of excitement, months of upward movement in the price of gold. But what happens when the gold ETF actually launches? Guys, 1 week later, it topped out and it moved to the downside. Big drop? No, not necessarily. Mind, Bitcoin's more volatile than gold, so it's going to be a little bigger than this. It was only a 10% dip afterwards, but it was a dip. There wasn't an explosion in price. When did the price begin to explode? When did the price of gold actually start to really pick up bullish momentum? Not until August of 2005. Not a full year, but November to August, that's what, 8 months, 9 months? It took time, guys. It took a lot of time after the excitement had worn off before the real effects came in. And then gold started to take off. Now, notice here, once again, guys, look at this. This is just a point I made earlier. Look at that resistance level. Look what the price of gold did. It rallied up. It broke it, set a new high, came back down, and look at that. Perfectly retouched former resistance as support. That's a side argument for a different day, for a different argument when it comes to XRP. Just wanted to show you guys that. My point here, though, is that the excitement on gold did not start the day, the week, the month that we had the ETF launched. It took 8 months. It took 9 months. It took 9 months for us to actually see excitement. Now, let's go back to BroCam here, T-Shroom. 4-year cycle on Bitcoin would suggest explosive Bitcoin movement does not start until August or September of 2024. What does that do for us? If history repeats itself and we see a Bitcoin ETF launch somewhere between August and March is our dates, November sitting right there smack dab in the middle of that, by the way. That keeps us consistent with the 4-year cycle. And we know this from past things. Say what you will about TA, say what you will about news. It's very weird and coincidental that the charts will make predictions on prices and timing, and then a news story breaks that no one was ready for. Something happens within a certain time that gives it the exact spark it needs to flow with the charts. But the truth is, you didn't need the news to trade it. You could have just looked at charts and made proper predictions about what price is doing. Is this not another one of those? We've been tracking the 4-year cycle with Bitcoin. It's pretty consistent. The expectation from simply looking at charts is that the Bitcoin bull market will pick up momentum in August or September of 2024. I don't need any news to make that statement right there. I'm just looking at charts. But now I bring in the news, and the biggest catalyst that Bitcoin probably has and will see for a long time is a spot ETF that will bring in trillions of institutional dollars. That's a great spark. And it's lining up just perfectly with a logical, technical argument of saying after ETFs happen, they don't spark massive adoption immediately. There's a delay while institutions retrace. They pick up supply that they want. They give people more time. And then the minute institutions are thinking, the minute the retail is thinking, it's over. This just wasn't as good news as I thought. We need to go ahead and short the market. Boom, the explosion starts. Guys, I don't think the Bitcoin ETFs will change the 4-year cycle whatsoever. I think they continue to confirm the 4-year cycle is not over. Now, 2027, 2029, as we're looking at, I think someday the 4-year cycles will break. I think at some point, the 4-year cycles will not have the massive explosion in prices and the massive falls. This next bear market, guys, I'm not expecting much more severe than a 60% dip. I think more realistically, we're looking at a 50 to 60% dip, because that's another observation you guys need to know. With so much institutional money, you're not going to have the same volatility. They're not going to allow the price to get drastically killed. But similar to gold still has had pullbacks after a spot ETF of 50%. I think Bitcoin, you still have a couple more bear markets where we're pulling back 50 to 60%, but eventually it'll start leveling out there as well. We'll have less volatility. It'll be people's life savings and retirements being put into it, which will make the price go boom, but it'll make the volatility in the trading go, That's my observation. And again, looking at the charts, looking at the news, and using your brain with logical explanations, the 4-year cycle is intact and is backed up by the Bitcoin ETF. I want to hear what you guys think in chat. Go ahead and start commenting what your thoughts are. But T-Shirt, what are your thoughts about everything we just laid out right there?
Well, Tim, I honestly just pretty much agree with everything you've said to the T. I don't just say that to, just puff you up or anything. I legitimately, that's like my view. So, what I do want to do is I want to get to a story really quick that's kind of big. I talked about it in the market open, and I wanted to get to it because I said I would. We can cover it really quickly and come back to this, but
real quick, I do want to shout out Magic Internet Money is in chat.
Very nice.
We got to get him back on the show here very soon. Shout out to Magic Internet Money, MIM. I guess we call him Mim now here on Investing Bros. He's Mim. So welcome, Mim. So glad to see you in here. We'll get you on here very soon. Yeah. Go ahead, T-Shirt. Continue.
Absolutely. All right, so take a look here at my screen. Tesla didn't buy or sell any Bitcoin for 4th straight quarter in Q2. How do we know that? Well, because they just came out with their earnings, so all of their balance sheet was published. Take a look here. This is not the right thing. The story that I wanted to show you guys is here. I got distracted and clicked on a different headline. Tesla shares down on slimming margins and Cybertruck concerns. Here's what I have for you guys. This is why Tesla share is down today, because Elon Musk and other executives on a company's latest vehicle in Cybertruck, they were using imprecise commentary. That's what's quoted. And then also their Q3 production will be a little bit down because, quote, they've got summer shutdowns for what the CEO described as a lot of factory upgrades. So to me, this pullback in Tesla, which I'll go back and I'll show you guys again, This pullback in Tesla is a buy opportunity, guys. That chart that was up before was Chainlink. And what you'd want to see here is this is my entry here at 274. What you want to see here is a good test of this support here and then a move higher. This support kind of put in by this. You might even see it dip down to the Bollinger Band midline on this is the daily chart. So ultimately, guys, I just wanted to bring you guys this information that and the big one is that Tesla beat earnings. So they beat their earnings, but they are down on these little pithy kind of afterthoughts. It's kind of like when Jerome Powell, when the Fed will come out and they've actually paused rates, right? Or they're starting to lower rates, but then Jerome Powell will come out and say a bunch of hawkish, yeah, but we're gonna raise rates in the future, so be scared. And then it comes down on that, but then days later it shoots up because the brass taxes is that they beat earnings. So
right.
And I'm saying that is I'm underinvested in Tesla right now. I don't have a lot of exposure to it because I've kind of been anticipating that gap fill. Right. And the same thing for Google and Amazon is they are obviously really good buys on the monthly chart, but I've been waiting to buy those because I'm anticipating a gap fill. And here's the beginning of it. I think that the NASDAQ has just been so strong that that Tesla is kind of the whipping boy here. They said, say some stupid stuff on your earnings call so we can fill that gap and go higher. That's my thought on equities.
Yeah. Well, guys, it is time to go ahead and wrap it out. It is 10 o'clock. Got some stuff I got to jump into. But if you enjoyed this episode, despite the ad interruption, make sure you smash that like button on the way out and hit subscribe if you are new. Let me know what you guys think about Bitcoin ETFs in the 4-year cycle. Your opinion is very valuable. Comment down below. With that said, though, you guys have a fantastic rest of your Thursday, and we'll see you Gold members today at 3 p.m. The rest of you tomorrow morning, same time, same place. You guys have a great day.
Trying to make paper, turn that better to cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots, stack bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros. Army pipe, lethal on trade. Entries and exits, worthy of praise. Tim, the professor, the TA. Shout it out loud on the PA. T-Shrooms News got the word. Doing better than what he deserves. Beamer, leave no evidence. Soon fly coop with his dividend. Trying to make paper, turn that better to cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots, stack bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros.